Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Only a minute break. Hopefully enough time to get some popcorn as we still have one more series ahead to start off our Challengers Stage 2. It's going to be TSM going up against YFP, two teams we've gotten to see face off before. But I'm really excited to get into this one, Ash. And when we're talking about I'm just quintessential. I should not try and say words I cannot properly pronounce on broadcast live. All right, we're learning live, people. But these are two teams that I think of right away when I think of challengers. So to see these two face off today, this should be really close, and I'm excited for this matchup.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this matchup. I think you look towards the run that TSM had over in playoffs. They did fall short, I think, early on within that lower bracket to M80 actually in an 0-2, and now looking to bounce back. One of the few teams that did not end up making any changes also to their roster heading into stage 2. So looking for that, I guess, like long-term project vision here for TSM, and I think more expectations on them for that reason too.
Yeah, talking about this TSM roster, it was one that when we started stage one might have been a little bit surprising with the two additions that they brought on into their core squad. Of course, being Vora and Recoil here. Recoil was sixth man before Vora brought in and then responsible for calling for the team. But Dan, it was something that worked out really, really well. We got to see this TSM kind of soar to a spot that we hadn't necessarily see them, even if once they hit the playoffs, it did fall just a little flat.
It's something that the coaches talked about as well, or the coach talked about, and the team in general, about how this communication has been working out so well because a lot of them have either past experience with being IGL or really talkative when it comes to these matches. But yeah, like I said, they had a really, really strong start. I remember, I think that they were our opening match of stage 1, and they look unreal. Then things, I mean, they were not able to keep it consistent, but this is still one of the teams that I look at and I think they can still make it to Ascension once again. They can still make it to the end of the year and keep getting these wins. And like you guys were saying, not making any changes. To me, I mean, for some scenarios, obviously it's necessary, but it's always a good sign because this TSM core, even thinking about last year, they've been staying together for quite some time.
Yeah, when I think of teams that need changes, sometimes it surprises me TSM not changing anything up. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think we've gotten to see a good kind of scale up from these two newer members. And talking about Vora, I mean, a lot of pressure when you're on this org that has a lot of this name power. You're with these players that this core team did go to Ascension. They tried to make that run here, Ash. But I think Vora has been someone who has stepped up so wonderfully into the role. So just kind of like just let him cook a little bit longer. It's already brought such great things to the team.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Again, I think it's the most fresh look that we've seen from this TSM core. Last stage, we couldn't talk more about how it also opened up that opportunity for GMD to kind of just like focus on his own micro and not have to worry about that calling. And not only has Vora's calling been good, I feel like in a lot of that mid rounding, but I feel he also has these pop off moments that he's capable of having, stepping up for this squad in really key times. And that's, I think, what's so exciting about this TSM roster is seeing that continuous growth for them.
Yeah, not just calling just the absolute potential that this guy has in the server, Dan, has been really nice. And I think too that these are two players, even if the names are newer, have definitely made such an impact on the team that I'm excited to see what they've been cooking up since the little bit of break.
There's definitely different things that we're seeing here, and I like that you guys were highlighting Vora because we've talked so much about the Tejos and what they've been able to do, the initiators, and how big of a part they've been playing, especially in challengers. And I think this is one of the guys that when TSM were doing good, he was always there. He was always at the top, right with Sim, and trying to keep these matches and these rounds alive. I want to see what he's able to do and the growth that the team has had. Again, I just put them right away in that top 3 regardless of what happened in playoffs, regardless of those matches where they didn't look too strong. They just have the individual pieces to make it really far as they did last year. If you're not putting, well, we'll talk about predictions later, but if you're not putting TSM, you're trolling a little bit. It's fine.
I think whatever team Sim is on always has to be in like near the top of my list. Sim is just such a fantastic player and someone who, I mean, even throughout the stage 1, we got to see so much of, and someone that definitely a lot of eyes on today. This is a challenger stage that has a lot of top tier duelists here, Ash. I mean, across the board, but Sim has been someone that despite that has always been able to stand out. And when he is popping off, I mean, this TSM squad that can sometimes already just look unstoppable just becomes even more so.
Oh, absolutely. I think the main talking point with Sim is consistently just how great of an opener he is for this team. Is, you know, the top duelist within stage one of challengers, so consistent with those first bloods, and not even just that, but just generally going so aggressive with a lot of those initial engagements. And he has some depth in his agent pool there as well. We've seen how nice he looks on that Yoru, also sometimes on the Raze or the Jet. So flexible in that kind of regard, and so consistent here for the likes of TSM.
Yeah, this consistency that Sim has. I mean, this has been someone, Dan, that every time we get to see him play, it's just, I don't know, it's such a treat. Like sometimes I just don't even have the words for it. It's been so much fun. And if Sim's having a good day, like that can already just be like the easiest win con right there for the squad.
He's good, and he's been so good. I think last year we always put him in that top 3. And this year I feel like he continues to be that way, even though we have a lot more duelists that have been kind of stepping up, and you see kind of different performances depending on what they're playing, right? A lot of the duelists that we had last year, like Sim playing a lot of the Jet, sometimes the Raze, are now forced into the Yoru, and it's a little bit for them an adaptation process. But for Sim, has been looking good, and it's just one of those pieces that you can always rely on when it comes to, as Ash was saying, getting the openings and being just a little bit more aggressive to everybody else.
And it'll be TSM's always such a fun team to watch, and I cannot wait. But I want to talk about this YFP roster because they're also a fun team, and heading into today, a fun new addition as well. I mean, we're looking at the team. VDog, we were kind of missing him in earlier series, and I mean, YFP, they saw VDog was available. Dan, instant pickup. I mean, great choice. VDog, fantastic player, and this would be really fun to see how he meshes in with the team.
That's exactly what I was going to say when it came to M80 and missing this part, not having him today. Now you're going to see B-Dog, but it's just in a new team for YFP. B-Dog has been amazing. When he had to play the duelist, he was doing it better than a lot of the duelists that have been doing it for 2-3 years. When he had to play the controller, as well as we know him a little bit more from, he's also able to do it. So you bring to YFP a player that is so incredibly flexible, that is able to play aggressive when he needs to, and maybe go into compositions that nobody else is running. I think that could be a good win condition for a few of the maps here for YFP, and I just feel like he fits really well. Like something about it, this was the correct move for YFP.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, and VDog, great stuff. And I'm glad to see VDog and Stellar playing together again. That'll be a lot of fun. And VDog, of course, there'll be a lot of eyes on him for today's series. But in terms of the official stuff that we have numbers for, of course, we got to talk about what we have seen for YFP. And first, talk about IGL here, Stellar Ash, and what he's been able to have for this roster.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, an interesting journey, I guess, if you will, for the side of YFP, because although physically is out now during stage 1, he started off as the IGL. Midway through the stage, then we have that role shifting back over to Stellar, and I imagine a lot of strong voices on this squad, and Stellar has been around the scene from the very beginning. It's no surprise to see him continuing on with the role that he picked back up previously, and I think as a caller as well, we've only seen him improve here as a leader for his team.
Yeah, it was someone that when he wasn't necessarily calling, it was like, because I think he's just such a phenomenal caller. So to see everything kind of meshing together as it should be super, super nice. And I feel like, too, for Stellar and just this YFP squad, maybe a little bit of a chip on their shoulder considering how their split one season end. But I feel like Stellar's more than that person of being able to, like, okay, Dan, what have we learned? Let's bring out something new, and I'm excited to see a little bit of that redemption today.
I want to see more of that. I think the calling for Stellar has always been pretty good, but it seems like at this point in stage 2, I mean, with what we just saw from Ambrosia, everybody's gonna have to step it up a little bit when it comes to the calling. There's a lot of variety that we're seeing from teams, and even though it's only 2 weeks, truthfully, we know that they've been prepping for quite some time as well, even from the beginning. Even if you're bringing the slight changes, even if you bring B-Dog, he just seems like the piece that's able to come in and fit like he was always there. So this is okay. I want to talk about this as well because we're looking at Penny right now. We're looking at Penny's stats. He was a duelist for the team. He should continue to be. But I want to see a world where B-Dog is able to take it as well, or to see how he's going to be able to support Penny, because it seems like that's what was lacking in a few of the rounds, in a few of the matches where TSM was or YFP was not finding an answer. And when you're going against him, you need that extra support. This guy's just going to hold you with an op and take you down if you don't have any flashes, any help out.
I mean, you're talking about how Penny and like this team's going to look up against Sim. So let's pull up that head to head. I mean, Penny is definitely someone who can hold his own in his own right, but we definitely have a really stacked matchup today when we're looking at these two. And Ash bringing up all the numbers and everything else. I mean, Penny definitely more than capable of holding his own. So this should be fun.
Oh, it definitely will be fun. These two duelists are always a joy to watch in the server, right? But my eyes actually draw over towards that clutch number, which is something that you don't typically get to highlight for a lot of duelist players. And I think it just gives you a bit of a better idea of the play styles of Sim and Penny and how they kind of contrast. With Sim, we've talked about how aggressive he is. He's the type of player where after they take that site, he's not afraid to go and push even deeper with the support of his team just to delay that retake a little bit more, for example. But then with Penny, it's a little bit more of a focus on survivability. I think playing a little bit more selfless in that regard as well. And that survivability into the late round has yielded into a few of those round clutches there, which has been massive there for YFP.
As a game plan as well is the way that they want to play around this Euro, which we're seeing more and more, right? It's not the guy that is going in and looking for the pick right away, might get some info backup or play it with the support of everybody else. And instead you have a Sim that, as we talked about, is going to be incredibly aggressive, not so much on the Yoru, and it's going to be kind of the classic duelist. Who were we saying that was the standard duelist? I can't remember anymore. I feel like Sim though kind of fits that as well, and that's why you see such a big difference of, okay, who's going to stay alive at the end of the round and who's going to get taken down right away.
Is it Zeldris that apparently was like the blueprint of duelists?
Yes.
Just like the classic of all time.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Fun conversations, fun stuff from Split 1. But I'm excited to see how our teams are going to evolve past that Split 1, how they approach Split 2. And it's time to start talking a little bit more about this series and talk about the map picks and bans for today. Again, at TSM, a team that did make their way to playoffs. YFP kind of stopped a little short. So this is going to be a big series for them today to show that they really have this capability with all this talent. And for the maps, it's going to be TSM Dan first to take us to Lotus.
This Lotus is interesting too for TSM. They picked this map and they haven't played it at all this year. And it's not because that was their permaban. It was just a map that they were either banning second or another team was banning it, or it was just kind of the option that sometimes it was on that third map that we never really got to see. They either were winning 2-0 or losing 2-0. It seems like they've been cooking on this map because they haven't played it in officials at all. There are big chances for things that they're able to do here that we just highlighted, right? So this is a good one to start, and one that leaves us kind of wondering why they want to play it so bad instead of just leaving it as a third option or not at all.
Going on for the rest of the series, we got Haven and Ascent. Ash, with this series ahead in 2 storied teams, how are you feeling about this map veto in general, especially with just a day that's kind of all topsy-turvy all over the place?
Yeah, it's been a day where things are shaking out for sure. I think, again, I am excited for Ascent. I hope that we do go to a third map because I am so curious to see what the different approaches are going to be from these Challengers teams. We've seen it a little bit in Tier 1. We got a preview of it in our last matchup with Ambrosia versus M80, and I'm just curious to see how much teams have been innovating, but we have to lock back in, I guess, on our second map before we even get the opportunity to go there. I think for Haven, this is a map where we haven't seen the best results out of TSM. The one win that they had was a forfeit win up against 4 that we saw during playoffs, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment for sure. So that's where I'm kind of worried, I guess, for the side of TSM. It's no surprise that YFP want to pick into that, though, considering I think that they've had some really good ideas of the map control on Haven, and TSM haven't looked the best on it. So maybe trying to take advantage of that.
Hey, I mean, even if map 2, even if Haven is just a little rough for TSM, if they're winning the Lotus, then they don't have to worry about it, because then we get the map 3, and I don't have plans after this, honestly, so I'm fully down for a 3-map series. I would love to just get the most Valorant possible out of today, but the TSM with no changes versus a YFP with only 1, and I mean, E-Dog's amazing, so that's a great addition. I'm curious with how these teams are going to hit the series, but in terms of our official predictions, even if one team has the B-Dog factor, I still personally had to go with TSM. Me and Dan on the same team for once, but Ash, you're saying YFP.
I did. I'm YFP pilled on this one. Please do not let me down again. Please. Actually, on my knees, please do not let me down again. I am on the B-Dog stonks here for YFP. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I'll be fully honest on the desk. I initially voted TSM before they announced who was slotting in on YFP, but the second I saw it was B-Dog, stonks went back up. I swapped my vote back over. I think that this is a great pick here for YFP. I think he does add so much more flexibility and that additional firepower here for YFP. And hopefully now we'll see some of like maybe the synergy adjustments that were needed as well, because I feel like that's kind of where YFP was like falling apart late into stage 1, was they looked kind of disconnected with each other. And I'm expecting this to be a great first start for them.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you guys my game plan for stage 2 predictions. Right?
Okay.
So I just got the first one wrong. We all did. We put M80. They didn't win. I put TSM. If TSM loses, I'm going to troll every single prediction. So it'll just seem like I was trolling from day 1. Like it's as if I was trolling from the M80 prediction. Like, yeah, no, M80 are not gonna win that. Like,
Are you the kid that like gets your butt handed to you at basketball and then takes the ball home so no one else can play? Like, what is this, Dan? I also say like you're playing basketball like you aren't 5 foot nothing. Like,
okay,
yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But do you have this plushie? Do you have a Cuber plushie? I think I win. Whatever argument we're going over, I think I win.
We've got the cooler toy.
We were talking about it. By the way, stage 1, we were talking about who's gonna get that plushie. I got it. I might have stolen it. That's a different conversation.
Oh my
god. So you
Not
stole
her
the
admitting it on the
plushie
broadcast.
and you were getting your playoff predictions wrong to try and get the
No, but I'm always
all
right. If I get it wrong, I'm right.
All
You
right,
don't see the
all
vision.
right. Me and Dan can't fight. We're on the same page for once. We're not supposed to be fighting. Dan,
Too
I'm
late.
sorry. I'm sorry.
What did you say about my height? It's too late for that, Sierra. It's war.
We got agents ready. I've seen how many apple boxes you had to stand on. I thought I was being generous, all right, but we got a game. My bad. Let's head to the agent select. Lotus up first on the menu here. Ash, agents, a lot of fun stuff.
A lot of fun stuff, a lot of good stuff. This is interesting. I think that we're looking over towards this YFP comp right now. I like seeing Penny on the Neon here. I think the change in tempo is going to be really nice as far as trying to get past a lot of the utility that we're going to see being thrown out from Bora and from Seven, who will, I think, have to just adjust maybe their game plan to account for that timing difference that Penny can throw into the server. And I love to see advice on both sides, honestly, and looking forward to seeing how Sim's going to deal with that wall with the help of the clone.
I'm looking at this duelist matchup, Dan, that we've called out, a TSM that we both predicted it up against this YFP. How are we feeling now that we got the agents officially for the first map?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a change, right? You're not having Penny on the Yoru as you've seen when they were playing this map of Lotus before, but it was a map of Lotus that was not the strongest for YFP. So you're going into this Neon, you're also going into the attacking side first, and it just seems about right. We talked about how Penny associating with the Yoru more than anything else, but it's a good way to change the tempo up a little bit. And I want to see especially how they're going to be playing around this utility from TSM, around this Vice as well. It's a good composition. I like the Neon on this map. It's always been my favorite. And Sim on the other side, one of the pieces that we talked about. Okay, he's played a little bit of Yoru. It seems like he needed a little bit more reps. Is today the real test for these two duelists changing what they're going to be playing?
Oh, I'm so excited to get into this match. So let's not wait another moment. TSM for Lotus going up against YFP on this redemption run. Let's head over to your casters, Uber and Wyatt, to get us started.
Now, I'm going to keep it $1.50 with you, Wyatt. As someone who literally built his esports commentary career off making short jokes about his co-caster, I am mind blown from what I just heard. That is
no, that was
devious.
crazy.
That is devious. I've won awards making short jokes about my co-caster, and I wasn't ready for that.
Does Mr. X stand on an apple box next to you when he's
he's
wearing his little suit jacket with a hoodie?
He does, mate. Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, you think game recognized game, but bro, I'm gobsmacked. Anyway, I digress. Jumping back into, of course, this map. It's a map that TSM haven't played much this year, but honestly, like these guys were the Lotus merchants last year, right? But much of that roster still maintained. We saw so many sort of big games. I think in TSM M80 matches last year, and I was going back a long time in Valorant terms here, but you know, I'm expecting good things from them. But I feel you guys on the YFP pick. Look at this roster.
Oh,
these guys can really have potential.
We are one adder short of Furia. They're back. They are actually back. But I mean, okay, TSM are going crazy right now, flashing into their spawn. They are in the attacker's spawn.
Okay, very quickly, TSM trying to make a statement in this game. And Penny, we're not ready for the 17th TSM player to be waiting here over by C lobby side. However, after exchanging an approximately equivalent amount of resources, we now have YFP inching over towards the C side, which of course is teaming with the remainders of this TSM roster. And there it is, YFP. End up getting brought down as TSM are on the no respect game plan.
Well, that got a little disconnected at the end. B-Dog just went for the 1v1 and, well, he lost it instead of playing with his teammate. That's unfortunate. B-Dog, who put GG in the chat after the last game.
Man,
surely
in the
that
Twitch chat, that's crazy.
He's got to be playing with a vengeance today. How can you not predict YFP after that, bro?
Yeah, he is.
Well, except for the fact that TSM are insane. They had an amazing run throughout the Swiss stage, and I think for me, a disappointing finish in the playoffs. I thought they would have made it further. I mean, 5th, 6th, hey, still respectable. But they were one of the first teams to really pick up Tejo Breach and Challengers, and they were flattening people with it. They looked so good. See if they can bounce back a little bit here, though I'm hesitant to say, you know, bounce back. It's not like they fell off crazy or something. They were,
no,
I was mildly disappointed because I know they could have done better.
I mean, we're talking about an Ascension team, right? TSM, who honestly like went on a crazy little run to get themselves there.
Also, sorry, as much as I want to go with the narratives forward, YFP have forced, and as far as did they get the spike down? I can't even remember.
Yep. Okay, in that last round, no, they never got to sign. Sorry, they never got to sign at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so they forced into this, and it appears that they're losing, in fact.
Yep. No, they lost. Well and truly lost. Why? Those stingers and such. TSM get a pretty good anti-eco where they keep a Phantom out of the round. Yeah, okay, YFP just going for it. Have these two teams just tacitly agreed to run it down?
That was an anti-full buy.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it doesn't feel like a full buy, but that was a full buy, and you know, they don't have the best money. Time for more stingers because this time they have loss bonus, so might as well. Time to run it down again.
All right, well, yeah, not only we're forcing into this round, but we are taking our stingers to some they're interesting territory there, pushing into halls, trying to get off the site. So that is going to set YFP.
Yeah.
They're forcing again. Okay. That's going to set YFP back pretty substantially in terms of the economy, and they just refuse to give up. This time, we've got multiple stingers brought into the round.
It's all good because they do have they'll have the higher loss bonus, so they can commit a little bit more. Excuse me, because the stealth drone just allows them to get up towards C. Guys, what if we hit C?
Okay, you know what? Honestly, it's a little novel, but I'm with it. Penny onto the site. This time, stingers find purchase, and there is really no one here. I think TSM, you know, opted not to call paper in 3 specific rounds of scissors, paper, rock. YFP, yeah, conditioning them that they would go to another side at some point.
Bro,
clearly not the case.
Scissors first. Okay, paranoia. And they're trying to push forward. Sim is just at least temporarily forced back. I like that YFP are trying to fight for space.
Lord, this double initiated YouTube, which hasn't been used really at the start of the round. Now, thrown at the site, it's going to force YFP to filter in towards Waterfall a little bit more. Stella, though, has some of his own. But caught out, though. Look at all the players involved in that elimination. Stella going down. 7 able to push now over towards that waterfall area, but Penny doesn't want to take swing. Okay, until then, great timing as it turns out. 4 kills for Penny, by the way. And Kimon, it's a 1 versus 2 in which, okay, we're doing the running thing. I like that. Keep it up.
All right, we are firmly in the land of silliness. Penny just runs in, gets 4 kills. That time, Recoil's caught by a stun. And Penny runs at him really fast. And then just holds down mouse 1 with the stinger. It worked that time. Cool. And now they have the full buy up against TSM's full buy. Both teams, basically no money left. So, pretty big round.
Yeah, I mean, YFP went band for band with them. And they stayed the course. I've got to respect it. I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to become the new, textbook for economics in Valorant. However, it has gotten us to a round 4 in which YFP have a buy. An actual one. So that's fine.
Targets. Trying to see what TSM have intentions of doing here. They've got like a paranoia stun setup, but no one. I mean, I suppose GMD would be the one to swing off that. If it does connect, then, well, Penny's the only one there, so easy for him to get out of dodge as TSM expend their util, hoping to get a kill, but all for naught.
I mean, still, it gives them a ton of information. They're able to actually set up a one-way now behind that position and already cheat over towards the A side of the map. This doesn't stop YFP from quickly bouncing in towards the B side here, which honestly would be pretty powerful, especially now they lost Thief pushing ahead. But they're busy toggling the door and twiddling their thumbs right now. 4 players to work with this. Yep, we're headed over towards B Wyatt.
Unfortunately for YFP, though, TSM, they are ready to retake from all angles at the moment. And Sim is just creeping in. He has found that timing window.
Planted.
Right, there it is. Another one for the boy. Up on the side did Sim eventually get. Penny and Jake do have a decent involvement here. But Gimon is in the perfect position to be the third party. Penny tried to make something happen. Okay, door open behind Penny. He's got to get moving. This makes it awkward now to try and set up and play off P-Dog. But okay, but it's going to fire through the smoke. Reasonable. Gimon sat. But time now for YFP really not there. They've got to basically go for it now. TSM rather, set up here. A second tap, a third. Recall finally gets what he's looking for. They teased B-Dog out of position. Penny's going to try and take the fight, kill the defuser there. And Recoil, 2 solid. Saudi Prodigy laying it down from that upper part of the B side.
That was a valiant effort from Penny. I do like how he was playing that. It didn't initially take the fight against GMD, just runs back, predicts his movement with the spam. YFP now in the economic doldrums. That was a very important round. It looked like it was well Recoil. I think he just kind of hit a 1-tap on Penny when he was sliding in.
Might have.
Right. Looked kind of sick, not gonna lie.
Again,
It's a great start, though,
so many
TSM.
times that round, right? Like there's still a world where Jake can really, or Penny rather, can really mess things up for them. But after a really chaotic first 4 rounds of the game, I think TSM to find one like that is so crucial. YFP can still buy down to a reasonable offering. But again, that's going to be hard. And I like these guys. You know what? Pretty straightforward. Just honest Valorant being played here.
They are keeping it simple, as you often do with the Neon. Time to just hit sights real quick. Vora, I think he knows that Penny is there.
Okay. Penny up close here. Aftershock. Stun actually connected, but Penny unaffected by it here. So TSM are trying... I'm trying to get on in here when YFP cut noise and haven't even tried to plant a spike. Are we waiting for that util to come back up?
Missiles, that could absolutely cook them. And there it is. Okay, that's why you don't all play in Baby Door.
So many players grouped up there. I think they're trying to play off of, the one individual that doesn't get stunned. But the big sort of break in timing that YFP take while they're presumably waiting for a dark cover to come back online gives TSM all the time in the world to decide how they're going to pick them to pieces.
It looked like maybe YFP were trying to find a window to be more proactive after getting into Baby Door, because just stacking up in there against the breach and the Tejo, Feltus, you're gonna get cooked. It's such a small, tiny little space. You have to get out of there. And then at that point, when they were trying to get out, TSM were closing in from the other angles. All right, Dryad just said in the chat, TSM 2-0, I've seen enough. All right,
okay,
interesting.
All right.
We'll take note of that right now.
Let the court have that on the record. Stenographer, get that one down. Weird game to start with, folks. Straight off the rip, we had to push in towards the attack side spawn. Then the next round, a force-up of Stingers, and we saw YFP push off the site entirely. So Recall was able to farm them. Finally, round 3, another, you bet, Stinger round. YFP able to make use of those weapons there to get the edge, get themselves one, and then this was a pivot wide over towards the B side of the map, which we saw them just go for the very next round. YFP just a simple, fast hit with a half fire towards the B side. It, well, it wasn't great.
TSM haven't even really needed to upgrade. Bora's chilling with a Stinger. Now they've got the Outlaw because they know there's going to be a hell of a lot of light armor / regen armor over on YFP. And Sim, he's right. He's going to be able to one-shot several players on YFP who look like they have intentions of yet again going quickly towards the B side.
Okay, well, Sim's going to be able to sniff this one out early, but gate crashing off the side is going to leave it very much open for the retake. So, see the info, take a second shot, we get out of there now. We will allow YFP to get in. Jake TP's on the side immediately now, so full retake protocol set up here for TSM. Rolling Thunder thrown up there by Seven. They play off of it here. 1 for 1. Seven's in the site. It's awkward. It is so awkward. Armageddon comes down. Jake here obviously playing over towards B main. They would love to peer into the site and stop a potential defuse. It's going to be hard to hear under all this util going off as well. There's Sim with the collapse and the third to finish it off. Line them up, knock them down. The TSM way gets them ahead by 4.
And that's why he got the Outlaw. Everybody had light armor. I love that snappy reaction from TSM as the spike was going down. Seven just sends the Rolling Thunder. They spill into the site with speed behind that, and they force everyone from YFP back into main. There's no way they're going to get back in at that point. Just taking awkward fights. Sim gets on the angle. This is looking like a roll, Mitch.
It's not looking good so far, I will say that. And that's to say nothing of the weird, like, playing tendencies over the first couple of rounds. For me, that's quite excusable. But we are just ringing that B hit bell over and over. Okay, that's the Sim effect. Nothing's more Sim than moments like that. Incredible highs and sometimes inexplicable awkwardness. Regardless, he doesn't get picked off and has a chance to be relevant in the round still with that Outlaw, and he's recoil. God, this guy is crispy with it. My goodness, give me a third, please. The dark cover saves B-Dog's life, in theory. YFP now with no real weaponry left, as you can see, are now stuck on Mount, stranded like the extras in the latest Dune film. And not a whole lot to be done. I haven't seen the film. But I mean,
Didn't see Dune 2?
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. I was actually really late to the party on Dune. I don't know why, man. Doesn't make any sense. I saw the first one, like, this person. And yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, B-Dog with a ghost. You decide what's more interesting, I guess, chat. That conversation or this one. As TSM will put him down and get a 5-round buffer.
Recoil is looking pretty good, not gonna lie. It's one of the reasons I was a big fan of TSM early on this year, and I was really excited to see more of them, and why I kind of had my hopes maybe a little too high for the playoffs, but reasonably high, I feel, is that they finally opted to bring in some talented little ranked god players rather than being the squad that historically were just going to the well of guys that have been in Challengers for a long time. And they've actually taken a risk this season. So you have some mega experienced players like GMD with the upcoming talent, and I like that mix. I'm a fan.
That's a good look. And YFP, I feel like this team are household names.
Okay.
In Valorant, Sim gets probably a little bit more than he bargained for there. Goes pretty deep to pick that player out. And YFP are hoping here that the gate crash out of this part of the map and the whittling down of personnel as TSM look elsewhere. Defos, Arc Rose, doesn't really say anything about the rest of the team. As you maybe you can expect like a vice to be lurking over there, but okay, Sim's just doing whatever he wants. He is
one of those Sim days. I mean, this is the TSM special, as was the case last year and is the case this year. Sim will just have those games where he drops 30, gives you 10 first kills. And then on map 2, he goes 2 for 11 on first kills, first deaths. And then map 3, he drops another 30 bomb. He is the highest feasting, yet often the most famining player.
Yeah, but the average is still good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it
averages out crazy.
Then you don't get that. You don't get to choose like how it gets packaged up for you. Is Sim, but come on. What are you doing, Wiley? Why is that weapon out? You didn't buy a shorty or anything, maybe? Bro is on one, man.
Enemy remaining.
Jake brought down. Gimon now getting a little serious, and apparently Vora is right there by him. It's out after the last game. You know, I really I tried to throw my expectations out, but I'm watching this nasty team of Stella, Jake, Penny, B-Dog, and Thief struggling against this TSM look.
GMD in those situations, he is the foundational element of TSM. He is the steady hands. That's what he was all of last year as well. And 7 to an extent too.
Yes.
Those guys were never really slipping up. You can always rely on them to play a situation like that correctly. GMD's gonna step up, hit the necessary shots. I've always been a big fan of his play. I really think he's one of the highly underrated players in North America.
We know that about it. Sim, though, is able to pull off a lot of acrobatics amidst the Gimond plate balancing act at this circus of challenges. Guy is, like you said, a safe pair of hands indeed. No early picks, though, this round. Sim, like he was using oath gates to get across the country in that previous round. This time has to just stay a little bit more put here towards stairs and help out on upper if there's going to be a hard A hit. All right, we're looking over towards B again. The classic YFP little B pivot. Let's see how that one goes this time around. He's having to pick Sim off there. That's just straight up through the smoke. No two ways about it. No plant here, though, because it's a great aftershock that will force Stella off of it.
Now trying to get a pick onto 7 with the classic fault line salvo combo, not going to result in a kill. YFP, this is one of the best chances they've had to convert around.
Oh, the Rolling Thunder playoff is so nice. Vora as well is ready to pounce.
Great paranoia.
Fanny has to just get the heck out of dodge now. Recall's looking to get there. At least it'll be traded. Vora makes the correct decision and paths to upper instead of worrying about Baby Door there. So he can back his teammate up. Paranoia. Yeah, ugly. 7 though again. Trades well, but now solo versus 2. Tap.
Enemy remaining.
There goes Jake. Stella next up.
Oh, he's taking this to half.
Oh, and he's not going to go for it.
He's aware.
Stella, brother, no! Oh, man. That's brutal stuff. 7 has got nerves of steel and secures TSM yet another round.
They were in the 5 versus 4, spike down. Genuinely, that was the best opportunity for a round win that they've had outside of, I mean, the time that they ran C with Stingers and got an opening kill. And they still can't convert. That is 2 versus 3s as well. The TSM have been able to win out.
One enemy.
Oh, man. Yeah, nasty little clutch there. We just talked about it. 7 and Gimon being the workhorses for this team. The role players, the ones that you can really rely on, even in the tougher games for the duelists, for some of the streakier players. Here goes Penny. In for a Penny, in for a pound. Onto the site now, trying to give Vora a little bit of tasing, but he's not having it. I could have gone better, I'll be honest. But this is the kind of round where YFP don't have much to back up that Neon ultimate. Poor weaponry, and Stella will eat one.
Yeah, and if you had dinner reservations tonight, you're going to make it. Don't cancel.
Okay. Great.
You can keep them.
One enemy remaining.
Easy fight there for Recall to take. They're able to play off that fault line effortlessly. And here's the Thief looking for 7, but that first shot is a little wild. 7 is going to be able to punish for that. A flawless round here. In case there were any concerns about TSM's, net worth, I've dispelled those. They've been able to, get through a couple of slightly weird economic rounds and buffer that up again. It's an 8-round lead against YFP, and then YFP predictors, a little shambolic, I'm not going to lie. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, I would never. He's crashing
I
out.
get it. Honestly, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much reason why this team shouldn't be a top team in NA. Especially with B-Dog being added to the team. Bro, that Furia team in Americas were kind of nice with it.
Oh, no.
These guys have been around for ages.
Oh, they couldn't even catch GMD. He's out. He's out of there. It's the 5-on-4 retake, and Recoil has the Steel Garden.
But yeah, there's also an Armageddon here. Throw at the site. So YFP to some degree probably have to track this, and they know it's coming. Try and fall off the site. They have to get out entirely. Now they have to retake. With an Armageddon of their own, though, so plenty of options here. Jake! Okay, thought he could weather the storm there, but Recoil absolutely ruins him. I don't mind that Armageddon placing. Forces Recoil back over towards Halls, but Gimon doesn't realize that someone's still embedded in the site. Penny takes a risk by hanging around. Now we're even in numbers. Is it planted for Mound? Not, well enough anyway. You've got the util, but it's half defused already. He's got to go forward now, find 7, and there's nobody up there to do a darn thing about it. Vora is alone against the masses. And for your round 11, YFP finally get a second.
All right, well, they were able to get the spike down essentially for free by forcing GMD back early, and then they had the ultimates to cause a hell of a lot of delay. Spike planted for the spam angle. They get 2 on Lotus attack. Now, typically, you want more than 2 on Lotus attack, but brick by brick, Mitch, we're getting back in the game.
I mean, there's only... that's fine, but obviously, only one more round left for this attack side. And again, like, you want to be able to exploit the fact that you can play off info, spread the map in, but YFP are playing like pug stars, and they are, honestly, not really making maybe use of the full round. Or some of this util to set themselves up. Fair enough to not check that corner. It's a rat position for Gimon, in fairness, but that's a trade. Sims up won't be in position here to be overly effective. And here comes that plant down now. 2 players up over the waterfall, some spray coming through. It's enough here to scare YFP off the plant, even if no one actually takes significant damage from it. Rays of Iron being thrown in there. Look like a special delivery as well to stun him up.
So that's a decent angle. Might be able to catch one. Oh my god, that is the decapitation. And he is deader than dead.
And it's just crazy that you get such a freebie op kill. Yes! We're doing that. We're trying to do that with regularity. It's not just a coincidence. Sim, you've got to give him credit. Just because he's holding the op, he doesn't say, no, someone else go, for this retake. He's in there. A true consummate duelist player.
He's trying to be simple on cash. He's really trying to give us that kind of no-scope. Not happening. But that's fine, because they win 10-2 and he got other kills anyway. Is this, do you feel this is more or less dominant than the Ambrosia half that we just saw? Now, was that 10? I already forget. Was that 10-2 or 11-1? I don't even want to go off rounds, though. I want to go off the eye test.
Okay, the eye test is, I actually think this is worse because I don't know if YFP are like giving themselves the best chance to win these rounds by like, making use of the map, like trying to force some rotates, like re-hit certain sites. They don't really seem to, like, honestly, it doesn't look super patient. I like the rounds where they've obviously trying to pivot into these big hits, but you're against like the Tejo Breach, so there's always going to be some utility that is like really terrifying to deal with here. Like, you feel like maybe YP could have slowed it down at some point. Like, there's no rubble fights either. Like, the A side play at the start of the round has been really interesting from YFP. They just don't really seem to prefer that. I don't know, man. It feels worse than the previous series.
Maybe they've spent most of the time drawing up the defensive plans.
God, that is
more specialists on this side where they're going to bring it back.
That's crazy from you, bro.
They're pushing out a B. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, they're running back. That's fine. They're putting pressure on TSM. They feel like, oh, guys, we have to go into C.
Select the crunch.
And then Paranoia. Hold up.
Okay, fault line comes out immediately here. This stops the mound crunch and leaves them awkwardly set out in the open with the door open. So Jake takes a bit of damage, but that's it. The rest of the TSM, though, are really going to get onto this C side, and Stella just makes a miscalculation about the spam spot. So now you have to go on the retake here. Of course, it's pistols. It's a bit of a weird one. Dave has been able to deal with Gimon, who wanted to push up in the halls and get a foothold there, which is fine. But YP, triple swing off waterfall. Vora has to know what's coming! And the spacing just isn't there for TSM. Here they come, boys. Down to Sim. Yeah, doesn't quite know, I guess, whether the diffuser would be. And YFP get it done. What an important pistol. If that isn't the most obvious thing to tell you here, folks.
A little awkward as TSM are not able to get any space virtually after getting that spike down. And it's not planted for Mound. You kind of need one or the other. And unfortunately, they were not able to succeed on either front with GMD getting caught over towards Halls. That initial kill that opened it up for YFP. And the defense specialists, they're on the board, Mitch. They're rallying back.
I just love how quickly we've conferred this title to the most optimistic award I've ever heard granted.
Yeah, I mean, source for them being defense specialists made it up. Coping made it up.
Just trust me, bro. There's Penny. I like this so far. Knowing, of course, that they can overwhelm with better weaponry as they push out on towards Mound. And this is pretty reminiscent of the first couple of rounds. First half. Both teams looking just to take fights at the C side of the map. And hey, we're going to move on pretty quickly. YFP convert on that anti-eco. No crazy forces, though, for TSM, which means that their weaponry is going to be in a very reasonable spot here.
Yeah, they haven't lost their confidence. That's for sure. They are ready to take the fight to them. Penny's playing decently. Maybe he can wrangle things back as I continue to just come up with any potential narrative in my mind to really cope.
I mean, you will genuinely rationalize anything that you're seeing on this map so far.
Now, of course, that will all go out the window if TSM get a clean round win here. I will lack belief. But of course, this is just the bonus. B-Dog has got the Bucky, a lot of Bulldogs for the YFP side. Jake is in trouble.
Ooh. Okay, Sim, hit by a fault line. This is awkward. Penny able to take the fight here and find a second. Okay, TSM, really messy engagement again. I mean, this is how the game's going to go. You have to be willing to fight for these parts of the map. And frankly, YFP probably, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do the same at A. On that note, Recoil is, I wouldn't call him inserted. He's been hanging around towards that A side. So leave that door open as an option. And Gibbon's able to get the drop on B-Dog here, low as he is. That evens up the numbers. It's just Bulldogs here for YFP, of course, on this bonus. Jake is going to be here, and the rest of the reinforcements are on their way, but there's a window now where Jake is severely outnumbered, and Recoil is presumably going to get involved at some point here. But, oh, the angle for Gimon is so good. Such a right there up on the site.
I love how he played that entire sequence from the teleport into that second kill. Has got TSM back in the round. Oh my god, I was worried maybe for a moment as he was exchanging the gun.
The noise cut is crazy. Okay, Thief just pulls off the site, not able to anchor anymore. Okay, TSM really faked a departure from the site because they haven't seen Recoil forever. He honestly just slowly came back to see. So weird.
All right, he sends that Archers out a bit early, so it's not going to be in play for the fight. Just an honest 2v2. Well, 7 actually does have the fault line.
Okay, not a bad one here. Recoil was hoping to benefit from it. Tucked in this corner now. Going to be nigh impossible for Stella to see him without exposing himself to Pit and Recoil. Well, he loses his nerve. 7's at least able to fight it. Here's the engine room at TSM up against Stella, and he falls short of the stars. TSM get another key round back now. For a bonus, you're pretty happy with that for YFP, but for a team that was down, 4 to 10, I don't feel nearly as great.
When it's come down to the clutch situations, TSM are winning those too. Second time 7 has come up with a clutch. GMD did earlier, and listen, it wasn't a clutch, but the way GMD played that mid round was really sublime. They're in that 3 versus 4. He finds a window to teleport in, catches B-Dog, and then 7 and Kimon really just take their time working that site to find a second. That was lovely stuff.
Okay, TSM, of course, winning that round. Very respectable amount of weaponry to work with, but Penny's just finding these edges in so many of these early round engagements and not having to put himself at risk for them either. And that's even while he's fighting for Mount out there in the open.
Oh my
Huge
god.
damage.
Everybody on TSM lit the hell up right now. And if they try to pivot into B, you have B-Dog just waiting for them in baby door. Penny is... Oh, you can't say he's playing poorly.
No, he's nice with it.
The opposite of the truth.
Still, this round definitely winnable for TSM. They have that A side basically dead to rights here.
All missiles away.
They quite know it. They're going to have to spend some util on an empty side to get in here in this insertion from Vora. Honestly, Green tries to take liberties here. B-Dog, though, just walking up, able to see him. Right. No reason you should win this clutch here, TSM.
No, unwinnable. 7 and GMD, those guys, they're definitely not clutch right now at all. They would never win this.
Yamond, okay, he was stunned up. Traded out though, 7 from below. 10 health is not enough. See, chat, you know where our bread is buttered. You can trust us.
We are back
Surely.
to a reasonable state of Valorant, and you love to see that. That was a must-win for YFP. I mean, not just because of the scoreline, but also because they have no money. And now they do.
Go ahead.
Big
now
force.
they do.
Oh, okay, so Penny as well can have a little bit of a crack at this. He does have the Neon Ultimate available. Look at this. God, I mean, the amount of damage he just did with that spray was incredible.
How many kills
Very,
does this guy
very
right now?
efficient.
18, 13. I mean, he's actually top frag in the server, interestingly enough, and they have 5 rounds. He is doing
Well.
quite well.
All missiles away.
Sure, that can be frustrated his experience as a duelist here, but he's going to take some stock in the fact that he's absolutely smoking him. Obviously not a good buy around here for TSM, and YFP just want to make sure there's no issues here. They will use that Neon ultimate, clean them up, and go next. Round 17 now. TSM's lead is shrunk to 5.
And I love that we don't get paid by the minute.
Yep,
I'll take a fast round like that. Nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. YFP, well done. Penny just
honestly, pay by word right now is doing pretty well. Not so much after the the 3-map series, but okay. Well, let's see this in slow mo. Yeah, Valorant equivalent of seal clubbing.
Looking at the ults and TSM, they're going to have a lot of them. 7 are 1 away. Sim, 1 away. Recoil, 1 away. So, prime opportunity here. Oh my god, he is not slowing down.
Penny, the recheck slide through. Nothing recoil to do about that. Tough to beat Neon in those spots. Armageddon clears the side, so TSM are here. And Peak is amongst it. Nicely done. Penny, okay, just produces. Yeah, we are. That's fine. Penny is 21 frags after 18 rounds.
24 now.
Okay.
Actually, that's going to be 24 after 18 rounds. YFP, they have Stellar is calling the Penny Go Kill strat, and it's working. It's a good one.
Okay. That's the problem for TSM. Multiple gun rounds now, consecutively lost. In fairness, like they don't win the pistol here, and it's a little bit quiet. They finally, they win the first gun round of the game, but they only have 1 weapon left after it. Forces him onto a bit of an awkward spot there, and YFP able to keep the pressure on. There's a real snowball happening right now. At TSM, you have to imagine one of those once in a blue moon rounds where you have every ultimate to spend has to give them something. But round 19 might not be the spot for that kind of play. After that, you're on that point. You would think, and I say this without a hint of irony, you would think they'd be able to springboard off that into a winning position after getting such a good lead, but honestly, it's a game that TSM involved in. It could always end up getting dragged out to a slobber knocker.
This is the classic timeout of we're going to be on an eco. Let's do something silly. And then we've cooked up our plan with all 5 of our ultimates. For the classic, the other team is trying to make a comeback happen in Valorant, but we've saved up all of our ultimates. The most pivotal round of them all. When you're the team attempting to rally back. Do YFP want to run at them again? Or do they want to just set up a nice little trap play? Both are looking like potential options.
Any thinking about driving a wedge between TSM here?
I've actually done neither.
I mean,
neither trap play nor run at them. They just kind of sent the util and hoped that they were there early.
It's just not the round for it, is it? In a team with sheriffs, sitting playing like a slow attack side default with those weapons. It would have been pretty bad for Penny. Still here, just trying to see if there's anything to be caught. Cast a wide net. Look how far forward he's ready for it though. Has some early warning, I guess, from the drone that goes in. That sees a blip on the map, you'd think. Avora's good for 1. This angle is going to be hard to clear, Wyatt.
GMD does recover. And okay, I was gonna say you should you gotta win that against Vora, and they did. So we have stabilized. This is fine. GMD would never win this.
And there was obviously the option for Vora to bounce over towards the B side of the map there in that 30 situation.
30 seconds left.
Kimon wasn't really able to play off of him, so Phantom secured. Jake watching over towards Rubble here and has the perfect crosshair to deal with this kind of play. Kimon finds it out the hard way. 3-round game here on Lotus as YFP, clawing them back.
Okay, we've gotten to that point in every Valorant comeback where you get to 8 and it's either real or it's fake. And this is the round that determines it. What do you think? Will this be real or fake?
I think it's real. I generally
think it's.
I think we're going to see Penny drop a little casual regulation 30 ball. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think.
Honestly, this is crazy, Fred. I think TSM are going to lose the round they use all the ults in.
I'm with you. I'm running with it. Real comeback.
So a lot of that util set up over towards the A side of the map here, which gives YFP the option to pull out there and still have the ability to play from upper. They could have to give up that tree position, but that wouldn't be the worst. This time, TSM don't blindly try and fight for Mount because Penny has been set up in that spot consistently. And he keeps checking her. Obviously, this is a comp that YFP have that doesn't passively gain info or, safely do it. They've got to take some risks. But Penny's feeling himself now, so confidently just standing on that C line gives YFP so much information about what could be coming towards the A side of the map.
Jake could be in some trouble here playing close up. Wants to get the dark cover down, but he's going to get overwhelmed on the run. But wind up.
Here's the drift. A lot of advice util to play behind for YFP. If they can have a stronghold here at the back of the site, they might be fine. But Sim actually wants to go towards the B side of the map. That Armageddon catches onto nobody. B-Dog.
Yeah, they baked that out completely. That was a good opening from Sim, however.
Why this is dangerous. Penny's trying to get in and be quick about it, but there's no one else for him to play off of. So all he does is look out into this sideline, and the Steel Garden comes on in. Penny though finds one. Recall, I think, just walks up into him there, and Sim tries to get his, but it's a big risk to take. TSM just felt like they had to get off the site and now play off this Rolling Thunder if they can. Wait for a tap, and Seven's going to go for it. The Omen TP could be big. Penny has to go out in towards B main, I think, to avoid this. No, he's not hit by it at all, in fact, and there it is. Come on, falls yet again. It's dangerous! YFP, clean retake.
It's real.
I'm telling you, man.
It's real. Penny winning that 1 versus 1 in main against GMD, that determines the round in that post spot easily. Even though it's the 2 versus 3, if GMD wins that, he can just tuck back into the corner, take his time, play it patient, and then Seven is just going to be biding his time as well. He's got the fault line. That would have been it. Penny wins the crucial 1v1 to lock that round up. He has dragged this team back into the game single-handedly. 26 for 14, and yeah, you are correct. He is on pace for the 30 bomb in regular time. It's feeling real. Too real, even.
And if he doesn't get it, honestly, I'm scared for YFP. Does that make sense? Because that means that Penny's getting a little shut down early in these rounds. This is doesn't look like it always, but it feels like a bit of a force here now for TSM into the round.
Maybe the other players are just killing everybody first, and they win because of that. That's the pot, glass half full. But you are right. If he begins to get shut down, that's trouble. It's troubling.
All right. Timeout here for TSM definitely has to be called here. Obviously, they're required to make a pretty big investment in a round like this. This is a team that honestly handled YFP pretty well last time they played against each other. TSM pulled up, disappointingly short in those stage 1 playoffs. YFP weren't present for them. At least placed high enough after Swiss that they'd be guaranteed a shot at stage 2 and didn't have to worry themselves with promotion and relegation. B-Dog here, just obviously in his debut, looking pretty solid on the breach. Good util use, hasn't had to be much more than a role player just yet. And I think he's probably fine with easing in that way.
Similar setup here defensively for YP, where you have Jake playing towards Tree, Paranoia ready to go to deny a forward presence from TSM, but it's not going to come. They had teleported away. That being Sim, it's just recoil there, and Deepest now going to feel the pressure, have to give up this site. No other option.
Too much for this util here to clear the way. So, first part of the plan for TSM works out. Now, though, YFP have to decide, are we going to try and intervene here while they're planning? Try and catch them off guard. His position for recall is good, but he's made noise, and I don't know if his opponent realizes caught with weapon in hand, and not the right one, folks. Not the one that does the shooting thing. That one is a metal detector. So now TSM. No, there's going to be a retake coming their way. None of those big retake ultimates here, but Sim's kind of forced to fight on his own in that position. Boris smoked off the angle. Now can try and use it to his own advantage, though. Gimon does well there from those boxes. The standard Omen spot does pay off. Thief has to be aware of it now, but his players are good swinging around the box, and it's getting awkward. Classic accounts for Thief. And there's TSM getting themselves to the map point.
YP were making me believe, but on that retake, TSM were just posted up in some nice crossfires, good angles, and it's really just GMD up top is able to capitalize on that position that only an Omen can easily get to that standard spot like you called out. It was looking good here after Recoil had gotten caught attempting to go for that flank, and TSM, they didn't actually have any forward space. They were just entrenched over towards Bend, but they win all of the duels, and yeah, looking good to take this map.
And he's happy to play off the one-way here. There's actually a lot of resources committed to Mound for YFP. Rico will be the one that would see this. If Penny moves up any further, all of a sudden, the one-way will benefit his opponent. It clears. It's an easy kill.
Go, go, go.
Recall here. Couple of difficult rounds. And that gets Penny 3 away from the 30 for those who keep track at home. We didn't get anything in the last round. And TSM by no means are guaranteed success here. The money is good enough that next round, they're probably still fine to keep this level of pressure on, especially if they force to save. Not at that point quite yet. Here it comes. Util Central. Thief. Unreal. Slips away like his namesake. And Stella finds the timing on towards Sim. Awkward now for TSM. They're pretty committed in terms of their positioning. They're going to have to try and go for these fights. The timings are just ridiculous. First he gets up the rope, then Stella finds one. These two can do no wrong. Seven now has to finagle his way out of this situation. Trigger discipline and a premium and still can't get anything done. Great IGL round there for Stella. YFP continue to close the gap.
Yep. You got your little friendship duo of Stellar and Thief, who've been playing together for pretty much forever. Feels like they are always on teams together. They really handled that situation with some finesse. Thief specifically, who was under immense pressure due to that attacking utility and just slips away while he's drawing the attention. Stellar's able to pick up some nice angles from lower on the site. And that has forced TSM onto the eco. Two of their players just couldn't afford anything, so this is a half buy. Oh
Okay.
my god.
Nice one for Penny. Confidence there. He's brimming with it. Kind of reminds me of that sort of first gun round that, you know, Penny just spams the Phantom and finds like 120 free damage. And the situation for TSM is pretty ugly. They obviously have set themselves up to be able to properly buy in round number 24. Why does every TSM Lotus map go to an absolute...
Oh my god.
That is so rough.
The
What is the
double
miscalculation there?
dig.
He just doesn't expect it. I guess any player is cross-rubble, even though obviously Omen can do that without being spotted.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he was playing an angle that's, a position rather that's exposed to multiple angles. So
Yeah.
it is dangerous. He's just relying on his ability to hit a crazy flick if necessary or get out of the way fast.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a bit of a gamble, even for a player of Penny's caliber. Now it's the B-Dog, though, who, as you'll notice, has that operator to hand.
30 seconds left.
Old jet main.
Yeah.
Play with the op quite a bit.
And that's what happens to operator players right now in the world of Tejo, forced off that line. So plant here. Now, Baby Doll well held. No position over towards Link, though, or upper. And that's going to be rectified now by 7. As TSM get him up there. Keep in mind, he's working with a classic. He wants to work with the Sheriff. Pretty weird, but the shield wall does come up. This is going to slow things down now for Stella to get in. Armageddon. Won't be affecting anybody, but buys more time. It's about stalled here. The weapons are a little bit weaker. Rolling Thunder could be a problem, and our Recall couldn't find the kill they were looking for. 7, though, found Jake. At the very least, it's up to Vora, who will be pressured from this position. Tap on the spike. Vora, 3 bullets left, and Thief plays the safe game. Okay, the comeback is real. 1 away from either a map completion or overtime.
Like, incredibly dangerous for YFP. Vora, a bold move to bring out the Armageddon, but truly was on the verge of netting them that round win, map win. YFP, B-Dog feeling like he had to commit the Rolling Thunder to lock that up because time had dwindled. They needed to get easy kills coming back in, and that was the right decision from B-Dog on his debut with YFP, which it doesn't even feel, it's not even like a real debut. These guys have played together forever. It doesn't even feel like a debut.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have got over so many years of seasons of Valorant. We've seen them compete alongside each other. Also, like, we've had so many of these classic NA mixed teams over the last couple of years that some have, become proper Challengers teams. Some have reformed, gone their separate ways, come back together. Whichever way you slice it, these guys have been around each other for quite a while. TSM, of course, they half-fought their previous round in order to have a round such as this, which means they are all fully armored. We're going to do with YFP, who so far have had the measure of them in a big way on this defense side. Both teams been vastly better defensively.
All right, Dimensional Drift from Sim, teleporting forward, getting all this information towards C. Trips the wall now with the clone. I don't think he actually ends up spotting out Thief, but essentially irrelevant as he realizes that no one is in the sight. But Thief wants to get back in actually off the delay.
Okay. Oh, Thief for timing, another one. What? The last couple of rounds have been ridiculous. Fate smiling on Thief. And now TSM have the plant, but they just have Sim plucked from their midst. Someone who's struggled. We're dealing with the other side of the Sim effect of these last couple of rounds, but there's Gimon. Oh, faithful, baby. Always delivers. Wind him up and he will go for it. Stella gets flattened. Oh, the fakest of fake comebacks I've ever seen, TSM. Close the map, 13-11. We get 24 rounds of Valorant and a crushing loss for YFP, who end up playing it so close. Today is unbelievably Challengers coded, Wyatt. It is just perfect.
That is an all-time flattening to come back to that extent. And Thief got them that crazy timing kill. It's a 5v4, but GMD fights forward alone, and he kills the first. B-Dog swings, and he just can't find the trade. And then he even gets a third, which at that point, I don't even think it matters. They killed enough people, but
like,
still, it's literally just the fact that he just didn't get traded. That is all it comes down to at the very end. Thief put them in prime position. That comeback was so real until it was the fakest of all time.
I mean, geez, they win. I'm looking at it now. 8 out of the last 9 rounds until round 24. That is, it's brutal stuff. Hard to see it happen, but hey, TSM with their map pick. Not the most convincing showing, but now we head on to Haven, selected by YFP next. First, though, we're going to head to our desk. We're going to break things down, and we'll be back for more challenges because today is certainly delivering if challenges is what you came for.